Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. Ever since the Warner Bros. Discovery merger officially happened last year, the company's been in a long period of transition. This transition started with the cancellation of a lot of shows and movies, some of which were deep into production, which obviously caused a lot of controversy online last year. Then they had the whole removal of a wide variety of programming from HBO Max, and a lot of other stuff happened too, such as some creators being fired from Warner Bros. Discovery, some executives being fired with new ones being brought in, and pretty much the whole structure of the company changing. We've seen changes even with Cartoon Network, like Tom Asheen being fired after not even a year and a half of being the president of Cartoon Network. Now Michael Oline is in his place. And it seemed like now, all of a sudden, they're finally starting to get their footing. It's finally the transition period is coming to a close, and we're finally entering the next era of Warner Brothers content. The last thing that was left for them to transition was HBO Max. If you guys don't know, a while ago they said that they wanted to merge Discovery Plus and HBO Max into a brand new streaming platform. And well, this Wednesday on April 12th, we finally got all the details on this new streaming platform, which will be combining, like I said, HBO Max content with Discovery Plus content. And this new platform is called Max. No, I'm not joking. They just took the HBO out of HBO Max and their new streaming service is called Max. So first and foremost, I'll give you guys all the details we have, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts on all of this because I think it's a little bit of a foolish transition, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So the streaming service is going to launch on May 23rd, and as I said before, it's going to combine all of the content on HBO Max with the content from Discovery Plus to bring them all into one place. Now, one of the interesting things about this is the pricing of their new streaming service. So effectively right now, you have an ad-free version of HBO Max for $16 a month, and then you have your ad-supported version for $10 a month. That is the current structure for the pricing of HBO Max right now. The new structure is very similar for Max. It's going to be $10 a month for your ad-supported streaming service, $16 a month for your ad-free streaming service, but the catch is they are now launching a new tier called the Ultimate tier. It's called Max Ultimate, and the difference between the ad-free and Ultimate tier is that the ad-free version is now only going to allow you to play HD content with simultaneous streams on 2 devices with 30 downloads allowed. The Ultimate streaming service is going to allow you to stream 4K content with Dolby Atmos, while you're allowed to stream on 4 simultaneous devices, and you're allowed 100 downloads, which the thing I want to really focus on here is the 4K versus HD content, because I feel like, look, right now if you have HBO Max and you're paying $16 a month for your ad-free version, you're getting 4K content for $16 a month. So effectively what they're doing here is they're charging you an extra $4 a month for what you were getting before. And if you're someone who decides to pay for a yearly subscription, ad-supported is going to cost you $100 a year, ad-free is going to be $150 a year, and then for an extra $50, the Ultimate tier is going to be $200 a year. So essentially what you're getting is for $50, you're getting 4K content, which you were getting before for the same price as the HD tier now. So all in all, I really do think that this new subscription model with their pricing is just not great, because effectively you're paying more for the same content you were getting before, except now they're adding the Discovery Plus content to that library. But I don't think that's worth an extra $50 a year or an extra $4 a month. Other than that, the one thing that every streaming service needs is new content. And of course, Max is going to be getting some new content, such as a new 10-year Harry Potter series. And the thing about this, which I find rather interesting, is this series is essentially going to be an adaptation of the books. It's going to be an adaptation of the books, which were already adapted into the movies we have right now. And to me, I don't really think this is a good idea at all, because essentially what you're doing is you're retelling a story that was already retold in the form of movies, and the issue becomes that you're going to recast the entire cast of characters. It's not going to be Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter or Emma Watson as Hermione Granger. It's going to be a brand new cast of characters, and I feel like this series is kind of being set up to fail in a way, because everyone's going to be constantly comparing it to the movies, because in all honesty, the Harry Potter movies are regarded as classics in their own right. I really feel like, I've said this before, I made a video years ago discussing how they should make a a Harry Potter series on HBO Max, but I really feel like that series should not be following the same story that the movies and books did. I feel like they should be making a series that's maybe taking place far into the future. Maybe it's following Harry's kids, Hermione's kids at Hogwarts, instead of just having the same characters that we saw in the movies. It just, to me, it really seems like a show that might get a couple seasons and then get canceled, because I really feel like it's set up to fail here. And the other show that was of note to me is they're making a show titled The Penguin, and it's going to be a spin-off of the Batman movie, and that's coming out next year. There's a trailer out for that. It looks pretty cool. But that's pretty much all the details we have for this new streaming service. And if you currently have an HBO Max subscription, you will be able to be grandfathered into this new streaming platform, Max. But overall, what do I think about all this? Well, I said before that I feel like this is a really foolish transition, and I really do stand by that, because number one, I never really understood the logic behind them saying they're going to combine Discovery Plus and HBO Max into one platform. I really just felt like, just take HBO Max and just add the Discovery Plus content to it and call it a day. I really felt like that was the best thing to do, because right now what I think they're doing is they're creating a lot of confusion out there in the consumer base, because they named this new streaming service Max. All they did was take out the HBO part of it, and it's effectively the same streaming service, just like I said, they got rid of the HBO part, which just to me creates so much confusion out there, because people are going to have HBO Max and then all of a sudden they're going to see, oh, what's this new Max app? Why did they get rid of the HBO part? And they actually did answer why they're removing the HBO part for the name, and effectively their answer is HBO is associated with long form content that is meant for older audiences, and they said as a parent you don't want to put your kids in front of HBO because some of the stuff on there might not be appropriate for them, so they're renaming HBO Max to just Max because they want to signify with that stuff on Max, the content on Max, is meant for all ages. They have stuff for adults, they have stuff for younger audiences, and stuff for everybody in between, which I just feel like, I don't know, if you're gonna rename this streaming service at all, which I thought was foolish to begin with, because HBO Max, I would say at this point, is an established brand. I feel like if you're gonna rename it to something brand new. Rename it to something that has nothing to do with HBO Max, nothing to do with Discovery Plus. Create a brand new name. I kind of had a feeling this whole time that they were just gonna call it HBO Max Plus and something stupid like that. They didn't go down that road, but they did something just as stupid in calling it Max. They just removed the HBO from the name. And again, I feel like this is going to create such confusion amongst the consumer base, because all of a sudden they renamed this streaming service, and if you're someone who wants 4K content like me, all of a sudden you're going to be having to pay an extra $50 a year just because they changed the name essentially. Other than that, it's the same service that you had before. To wrap things up in this video, like I said, I really just don't think this is a good idea. This is their grand plan. They've been hyping this up for so long that they're going to rebrand HBO Max and merge it with Discovery Plus for this new world-renowned streaming service, and effectively, like I said, it's the same thing. It's just they're removing the HBO from the title, charging an extra $50 a year for 4K content, and that's pretty much it. And the thing is as well, is it's not doing well so far, at least perception-wise with investors. After this announcement happened, the stock started dropping. I really just feel like since this merger has happened, it's just an absolute mess. It's just like one thing after another, and when it seems like they're finally starting to get their footing beneath them, they do something like this. And you know, I would say this isn't as big of a deal as them canceling a bunch of shows and whatnot, but I feel like, you know, this still isn't a great story. It's still not great to see that HBO Max, which was regarded as a good streaming service, even though I didn't care for it, a lot of people do like it and regarded as one of the best streaming services out there because of all the content on it. Now you're taking that, rebranding it to just Max, charging more money for the same service you were getting before, and now you're paying $200 a year for what would have cost you $150 before, and you're really not gaining anything from that. It just, to me, seems like a really hard sell, and I don't know where things are going to go from here with Warner Brothers Discovery, because, like I said, it just seems like one thing after another with them. When you think things are going well, then something happens that's not great. I mean, it's to a lesser extent, but look, we had all this stuff last year, right? We had all the show cancellation, all the movie cancellations. They then removed all the content from HBO Max, 36 shows and movies. Then all of a sudden, they're canceling stuff at HBO Max, such as Batman Cape Crusader and The Amazing World of Gumball movie. They sold sold Batman Cape Crusader last month to Amazon Prime Video. They then are shutting down Multiverses. They announced that's happening because the game's a failure. Now all of a sudden they announced that they're rebranding HBO Max to just Max and charging you more money for the same old content. It's like, I don't really see how this merger made this company any better. In all honesty, it's made the company much worse. And like I said, it does seem like they're starting to get their footing now. It does seem like things are being paved forward for a bright future for this company. But at the same time, it's like so much damage has been done already. How do you then recover from this? And I feel like that's going to be a situation that's going to be so interesting to watch over the next couple of years, assuming it doesn't get sold again. Because if you guys remember, there were rumors last year that Comcast has heavy interest in buying Warner Brothers Discovery, and I believe it is either March or April of 2024 the company will be allowed to be sold again, because the way it works with the laws and whatnot and the regulations that are in place, after a merger happens, there's a certain period of time where you're not allowed to sell off that company or sell it again. You have to wait until that date passes, and I believe it's going to be in March or April or maybe even May of next year. So who knows? I mean, I might be here in a year from now talking to you guys about how this company is going to be sold again, but I really just feel like at this point, someone needs to figure out what they want to do with this company, because there's other news out there, which I'll get into in another video hopefully, where regulators are looking into this merger now, and lawmakers are not happy with everything that's gone on with this company so far. So we'll have to wait and see what the future of Warner Brothers Discovery is, because like I said, it seems like they're getting their footing under them, but at the same time, they do something like this. Anyways, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about all of this. Do you guys agree with me and think that this whole transition from HBO Max to Max is just stupid, or do you have a different take on it? If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from DC Network. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.